Welcome to Arkansas basketball recap, that show that recaps every Arkansas basketball game. Today we're recapping the Razorbacks 76-73. First legit road win, first legit road test of the season. We had some neutral site games, but yeah, going to Miami and get that 60 or that 76-73 victory over a Miami team that is admittedly struggling. And if you are a Miami fan, that had to have sucked. And I I am sorry, because it seemed like you were gonna get on the right track maybe. And Arkansas said, not today, not in the second half. Arkansas comes out of the gate struggling a little bit, only scores 32 points in the first half, but then they go into the locker room down 8 at halftime, but they outscore Illinois by 11 in the second half. They win by 3, and that's what it is. We'll get into all the stuff. Hey, I know people don't like it when you say a win's a win. There's actually, I think, a number of real positive things to take from this. I mean, one is just being down 94% of the game or whatever you were, and finding a way to win. Boogie looked kind of freshman-y against Illinois. I don't think he liked that. And he, man, when the game was on the line, he looked like that dude.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, we haven't talked about it. I don't know how you experienced that game, but it was really frustrating to watch, especially the first 3 quarters of the game. I mean, uh, both defensively and offensively. Like I said, they definitely started to pick the offense up in the second half, which I mean, just hitting threes and stuff. But yeah, macro, the, you know, I actually agree with you that there was a lot of problems. There's still a lot of reasons to be concerned, but I think a lot of positive things for the team can be taken out of this. And one definitely is the fact that like you need guys to have these pressure situations and perform under it to get to gain confidence. And it definitely, I have some criticisms coming up of Boogie, but he definitely, I think that, I
But
mean,
not
we'll see.
none of them in the last 2 minutes.
No, and I mean, and like I said, I think that that was really good. Like I mean, Thoreau has been kind of the leader, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not such a junkie that I'm like in these guys' Instagrams and stuff, but like he doesn't feel like he's the leader in the way that you want your leader to be. He feels like he's the leader. He's just like, I'm gonna go get a bucket. Like,
Well,
no,
that
oh,
well that's
we're
one of the
struggling to get a bucket.
yeah
I'm gonna go get one. But he doesn't seem like he's the guy running the offense, or
yeah.
even that he has the inclination to be like, you don't see him like going up to guys when they make mistakes and like putting his hand on the back of their head and being like, this is what we got to do. You know what I mean? Like he's
I feel like
leading.
I feel like you see more of that from DJ.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And maybe even Nelly a little bit. But I mean, having Boogie is definitely the most versatile scorer that we have, and you do want that guy to have the confidence at the end of the game because he's got the best handles, the best overall shot as far as inside and outside, being able to get his own shot, 17
Well,
footer, 15 footer.
three level rim, mid range three. Like he can
Yeah,
do it from
and that
everywhere.
is the guy you want to have the ball in his hands at the end of a close game if he can assume that role. And even if he's not the one to take the shot, even if he's the one to draw the double team and kick it, you still it is always just so much more easier if you have to. I mean, you saw this with like LeBron James his whole career. At the end of games, everybody knew that to put the ball in his hands because he's the king, but it was always a little awkward. It wasn't the same as when Jordan had the ball in his hands at the end because there are different styles of player, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And I feel like with Thoreau, you're like, I don't really want him starting out, dribbling out the clock, and then, you know what I mean, at the end of a game. And I feel like that could have been really good for Boogie and really the whole team because, and I mean, I know it's a stupid thing to say, but if they lose that game by 1 point, it really would have been devastating for their confidence because in a lot of ways they didn't play well. You know, I mean, they played well, and I mean, obviously, like if you look at the end stats, it doesn't look like that bad of a game. It looks like
No,
an average college
and
basketball game.
actually, with the exception of the free throw shooting, it looks like a game you'll take all day long. Like if you just look at the numbers, like you're like 76, 73 win. Maybe you want to score a little bit more than 76 points, but you look at the field goal percentage. Arkansas shoots 48.4% from the floor. I mean, I'm going to take that. I'll take that every game. If you ask me, hey, would you settle for 48.4 tonight? I'd be like, absolutely.
Mhm,
47.8 from three. I mean, of course, right? I mean, we went 11 of 23. I love that we made 11 threes. I love that we only shot 23 of them.
mhm,
Love both those things. And I love that we, like, yeah, we made it rain from three against, Maryland, East Shore, whatever. It was good to go on the road. And this is the thing you guys got to remember. Like, I'm not saying Miami's good. Like, they're obviously struggling. It's, look, you take a power four true road win when you can get them. I mean, like
mhm,
and you got some young guys and Boogie um, and Billy and you're gonna take that win, dude. I mean, road win's a road win when you're talking about Power Four, conference teams. And so, yeah, and then you're like, hey, can you shoot the like? This is a good test. Like, can you shoot the ball? What? Because we've talked about the 3-point shot. Can you make some outside shots against you know power power four athletes on the road? Like, are you going to be able to do that? They did. 11 to 23. That's a great sign. We only were 5 of 9 from the free throw line, which is just 59, 55%. That's not enough free throws. Like there wasn't that. Like we only shot 9 free throws the whole game. That's probably the least amount we've shot all year. I think probably. I have to go back and look, but um, so like, that's the one thing that you're like, oh, it's not very many. But I felt like the refs kind of let him play a little bit, and that was part of
yeah,
it. And
they did.
but I could go down the list and say like, look, if you ask me, hey, do you think you going into this game, if I told you, by the way, Thero. It's like
Thoreau, Thoreau.
Cheerio. It's
Mhm,
Thero. Just remember that. Anyway, Thero, if I told you like Thero's gonna have 7 points, how do you feel about your chances? He's gonna go 3 of 10. It's not like he took a ton of shots. He's 3 of 10 at 7 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. I like that he had 4 assists, so he was getting other people involved. But I would have been real, real nervous about that. Like, I mean, he comes into the game, averaging 20 something points a game or whatever. I'd have been nervous about that, but you got it from other places, which is also important. Like it wasn't you don't want to be like, well, we can hang around in every game because Thero would just put his head down and just get to the free throw line 17 times or whatever. Like that's great that you have that as an option, but you're gonna need other guys to do stuff. That can't be the only thing you do. And I can go down the list here and tell you that Boogie Fland had 18 points. Boogie Fland also had 6 assists. That's great. I mean, so he was
mhm.
distributing too. 18 points, 6 assists. That's a point guard right there, man. That's a point guard who can score, and I thought he was great. I like Nelly Davis this game. He took 7 shots. Like we're getting closer, man. Like yes, like I need you shooting the ball more. I don't like you shooting 3 shots a game, dude. Like 7. I'd like to see that up to 10, 11 shots a game. But he comes out, hits 3 3-pointers. He also gets 5 rebounds. He's a good rebounding guard. He gets in there and so he finishes with 12 points. That's great. I thought DJ Wagner was really good this game, especially when a lot of things were going. He was 6 of 12, so he shot 50%. That's great. Um, he also dishes out 5 assists. It's great, dude. Like I mean, like there's a lot of assists going on. So he finishes with 14 points. And then of course you got Big Z just coming out and like, dude, I don't know. I gotta tell you, Big Z just doing what Big Z does, which is I don't miss from the top.
Well,
Like,
we said when he was shooting them, I said I don't really like a big man shooting that much. I want you down in the post if I can get it. I mean, like there's times for it, but I was like, but if you're going to hit 3 a game, then okay,
he
I'll,
was
we
he
we
was
need
he was
we
three of
need
four.
I was gonna say we need some 3-pointers. So if he's the one that's got to hit him, but I mean, at the clip that he's shooting them is, I mean, it's not kind of unbelievable.
Yeah, like he don't miss from the top right now. Like, I mean, it's
Well, and some of
ridiculous.
them, like, well, and the other thing is he hits them from the. I mean, everybody knows it plays basketball. There's certain guys that like just are knocked down from the corner because
Hmm.
it's a different shot from the corner. I mean,
Yeah.
you literally like release the ball differently. You shoot it differently than you do up at the elbow. And now most guys that are good shooters can adjust, but it is a slightly different shot. And he is money from all the way around the horn. And he's not always like usually with the big guys, they got to be pretty set. And but I mean, he like tiptoed back behind the line and hit that one up on his toes.
Dude,
And a
by
couple
the
of the
way,
other ones,
he don't rattle a lot home either.
no, I mean, he's got some good arc. They are pure. And there's a couple of times where he caught it. They weren't perfect passes. Like what I
Hmm.
mean is they didn't hit him in his shooting pocket. He had to kind of gather it and by the time he shot it, there was a guy there. I mean, not that he's going to get blocked, but I'm just saying he seems unaffected by that too. Like I said, I mean, he's not just I don't know. Usually, you don't see big guys. You see, like we all know, like the Steph Curry guards, where they can catch the ball and shoot from any position, catch it from any position. They just doesn't matter how it comes to them almost. But usually with big men, you got to help them out by having their feet set and hit them in the sweet spot. And he seems to be. I mean, maybe I'm overdoing it a little bit, but a couple of those, I was like kind of wincing, like, oh, he didn't look like that. Looked like he was kind of forced it or didn't catch it clean. And but they drop, man.
Yeah, I mean, and think about this with Big Z. He doesn't start this game. Um, and he really rotated the big guys a lot, but Big Z gives you 14 minutes, 11 points. I mean, what do you want, right? Like, I mean, that's great. Uh, I liked what I saw from Jonas to do. He's obviously not like 100% or anything yet, but he gets you 12 minutes this game, and I could tell that the ball screen defense is a lot better when he's when he's up there. That's for sure. But I liked it. Like you saw some glimpses of what you could have when they went to him in like, and they did this a couple times. So they did this with him and they did this with Brazil. I saw a concerted effort to get the ball into the post over the top when they were like, when they were that defense was coming out. And I mean, Jonas Duke got two dunks off of that, and like just like it gave you a glimpse of like, Euro man, I can't wait for you to be 100%, so that we have somebody that they got to really worry about down there on that block.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't love his offensive possessions. Not that he can't make those shots when he's in it, but like the shots that he took were a little bit more of the more difficult type of
Mm-hmm.
shot that a big man
Except for
takes.
those,
Like
except for the two
the
dunks.
yeah, not the dunks, but I'm saying when he actually when was the
Mm.
offense was running through him.
I think that's
I
just him
mean,
being rusty though. Like I like that, like
yeah,
kind of over the shoulder hook. I mean, he missed it badly, but
I like it
I've
better
seen,
when it's from the front. I mean, I know he can make that shot. It's just it's a tough shot for
yeah.
anybody to make that little side where
Oh,
it's like it better be net.
that little 8 foot jumper. Yeah, I mean, I know he can make that shot too. Seen him do, it, but I meant like the one he got one time. He got the ball in the post and kind of went over his shoulder, kind of
It was still
hook.
from the side though.
Yeah, but it was
It was from
like
the other side.
I've seen him make that shot a ton, and I'm just like, you're just like not. I mean, you're not. You're just a little rusty and everything. Like that's gonna be. It's good that we have somebody that you're even is even a threat to shoot that shot, like where you can get the ball inside a little bit. But that's part of the reason our field goal percentage was good is because we shot well from three, and then we got to the rack, and we got the ball not just to the rack driving, which we did, but we got the ball inside a little bit for easy points, which was really good. I thought I thought Nelly looked more comfortable, like just the way he was moving around and like he was a little more assertive. Uh, I, I'm 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 hoping he's feeling better. Like maybe that wrist is like good to go, and now he's like he knows the guys a little bit. He's played some games, and because we're gonna need him, we're gonna need him to be a real important piece. And I thought this was his. I don't know if it was his highest scoring game. I don't think. I thought it was he looked the best in this game though.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, because you win, there like I said, there's a lot of positive things to look at in the game, and because you win, you're able to look at them. to be the negative person, I would say like the reason we're always done like what information are you gaining from this team in these games? And right now, I would say, we're still there's still great reason to be concerned. Like
Yeah.
because you can we've still got the coal of hope like and you can take it and be like, well, at the end there they pulled it out, they struggled through adversity, they played with a down by 10 almost the whole game, they managed to struggle through and get it, and hopefully they can carry that on and get better and better. We already basically decided this team's not a juggernaut right now. I mean, they're not even a top 25 team in right now.
And I think you're
They're
gonna have I think you're gonna have a lot of games like that. I think that we're in for a lot of last 5 minutes of the game really being
Yeah.
on the edge of your seat. I think
Oh,
that's gonna
oh,
happen a lot.
I think we said that on the stream last time. Like, I think this is gonna be one of those lose every other game type of frustrating or potentially you're gonna be in these games unless they improve to a level that all of their talent and athleticism comes online in a way that they can start to really go on some big runs and put teams away by 15, 20 points and then not look back. But so far, we haven't seen that yet. I mean, like I said, they have the capability. It's just you can still tell everybody is uncomfortable with the position or their role, not their position necessarily, but the role that they're being asked to play. And
And
some
I
of the
don't think
young
you mean
guys,
and I don't think you mean that in a negative way, like they're like unwilling.
no, it's just like I don't think everybody's trying to figure out how they work with these guys. And some of the younger guys like Boogie and stuff. And I would think, I mean, I think Brazil's this way to a certain extent too. They don't have a great feel for the game when it's like when and you can take the same shot at different times and it's good or bad depending on where the momentum is. There's like a like a flow to basketball where like there was one time where Boogie, and I can't remember who passed it to him. I think it might have been Big Z, but he whipped it to the corner and dude, he was wide open in the corner and he passed it over to like to throw, and then they passed it again, and it was actually really good ball movement, but you should have just taken the open shot because then it turned out like Thoreau, I think somebody went in, got lost the ball, and then they went down and got an and one on the other end. And it's like you can't like you were being that was a moment where you actually should have shot the ball. And then there was another moment in the first half where we were struggling. I mean, it was early, like we were had like 3 points or something. And he walked up and just shot a three at the elbow. No one down there to rebound. And if he had waited just a little bit, like people were coming, but it's just like one of those ones where it's like not a good shot. Like you that's one of those shots you can take that three anytime you want to. I mean, obviously you can't if someone's guarding you up in your business, but I'm saying you can that's a shot you're going to be able to get if you just want to take a selfish, no passing the ball, deep three, at least wait for rebounders to be down there. You know what I mean? And it's just a matter of like as soon as you took it, it's just like, well, that's not what we need right now. We're down by five. We've only scored 3 points. We've turned the ball over a bunch. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like you got to earn that shot. Like
Yeah.
you can't if you're turning the ball over and your offense is kind of frustrated. I know you. I mean, like I said, unless you. I mean, I guess unless you're that dude who's going to break it by. But I always feel like unless you're
I think
Steph
he
Curry
does.
or just an
I do think he feels a little bit of the pressure to be that dude. Like if the team's down and be like, I think he feels a little bit of that weight to be like, we need to score. Like, and then that's what I got brought
yeah.
here to
I'm
do.
I'm still always of the opinion when you're struggling to score though, like you need to put your head down and get to the cup,
Yeah.
and the threes will come from that if you
I
can
felt like
kick
that's
it out.
I felt like that's what DJ did. But I thought DJ was great. He, but dude,
I'm
that
not
dude
done with my
fit.
negative stuff yet.
I'm just saying, but that's the thing that he did to keep. He was doing that to keep us in the game. Uh, and he finishes a high degree of difficulty shot at the rim, like
Mhm.
a lot. Like I miss all of those, dude. Like what, just some of those angles and stuff. You're like, what is that? I'm missing that for sure.
Yeah, because I think if you're a Kentucky fan in the comments, which hello there, I like you guys. The more everybody needs to fight in the comments. I mean, in the best, most positive and sportsman way possible. But that's fun because that gets that actually makes it fun to get in the comments. And I mean, I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying everybody, but I'm assuming if I was a Kentucky fan, I would say, and I think there's some truth to this, is like right now Miami is not a good defensive team.
Hmm. No, they're not.
And I think if that's the difference between, like I said, if you look at all those stats and you go 50% shooting, you know, hit some threes, scored almost 80 points. So like you'll take it. It's like if I'm a critic, I'm going, if you watch that game, that offense was really ugly for, and they weren't, it wasn't all 3 quarters in a row, but
See, that's
total,
that's
it
weird.
was ugly for
I thought it
about three
was
quarters.
it wasn't beautiful offense. I thought it was better.
I mean,
Dude, I thought it
dude,
was better than Illinois. Like I
they
thought
had
like
15 they had 15 points to with like 4 minutes to
I just
go in
meant the
the
ball.
first
I just
half.
mean the ball movement was better. Like I just thought like it looked more intentional.
I mean, I think it did in the second
Especially
part of the second half.
or like the dump, like getting the ball in the post, like that looked on purpose. Like they were running sets to get that over the
Yeah, I
top.
know, but this is what I'm saying though, dude. Like that was the first couple of buckets that we got where they were dunks, and it was like three in a row or three pretty close to each other. That was really, I mean, I think we were trying to do that, and maybe Cal watched some tape and saw, but like that was just bad defensive
Yeah,
rotation by
yeah,
Miami. And the reason you know that is because they basically just like as soon as their coach screamed at them what to do, they stopped. That did, we tried it a few more times, and it was not as effective. We didn't get those wide open to the dive to the post
yeah,
pass from the corner, and so I mean that's what I know what you mean. We were trying to do stuff that was more intentional, but to me, it felt like the way that, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. The way I experienced the game was it looked like we intentionally were trying to run some motion offense. It worked a few times with throw, just tossing it down to the big man as he rolled, and they weren't covering it properly, and the guy literally was getting a backdoor dunk. And then once that stopped, our off it kind of almost sort of fell apart, and it just turned into every one of those guys again going one on one,
yeah, yeah,
and there weren't a lot of threes to be had. I mean, Connor hit, I mean, not Connor, Big Z hit a couple in the first half, but like there weren't a lot of threes to be had because our offense was not moving at all. Like nobody was getting any good shots. And
yeah,
the ones that we were taking weren't going in, and it was no surprise because, like I said, they weren't the kind of three shots that you're hoping to get. And that's for me, that's how I felt most of the first half. And then the second half all felt better, but it did feel like we actually had some bad luck in the first 10 minutes. Like just as we'd get it going, like somebody'd miss a layup or somebody'd miss a
yeah.
dunk, or we'd almost have a steal and then dribble it off our
Oh,
knee.
that
You know
was
what I
a
mean?
great
Like,
steal by Billy too. That was a bummer because that guy was on the like was a split second from getting a 5 second call, and man, Billy baited him into throwing that long one and then just picked it and just couldn't gather it and went off his leg. But yeah, yeah, stuff like that was a bummer because you felt like because I think that they gonna tie it with that or maybe they're down four and they were go down to anyway. You felt like the momentum was starting. It was like you're like, oh, it's starting to happen to you guys like that. It's like the momentum is coming, and you're
mhm.
like, oh, that's a bummer right there. Uh,
I would
yeah,
credit. I
yeah. I
actually,
mean, for sure, the offense was better the second half. I mean, we scored 44 points in the second half as opposed to 32. So, if you scored 44 in both, you have that's 88 points. So, like, then you're talking about like, well, I mean, what do you want them to do? Like, that's pretty good.
yeah,
So
and
yeah,
I
it
didn't, and like
definitely
I
was
said, I
better.
actually think that the defense was frustrating to watch because, again, these guys play really hard defense, but they play hard at sometimes the wrong, and by the wrong moment, I mean the wrong half a second. Like
Yeah,
they jump out on guys. You could tell Cal was mm, telling them to guard the three ball, and those guys were when they would notice the ball coming to an open guy, they would overextend to try to make sure, and then the guy would just dribble right around them. You know what I mean? They played.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, they got around us a lot in the first half because we were just playing uber enthusiastic on the runouts, and it wasn't even working. Like where they were still making some of those shots. So, but I actually think that for me, I thought Big Z in that there was that brief period where he hit a two, got a block, got a steal, like all in the same like little 3 minute period, and it was crucial because that was the right when we
Yeah,
just were getting in the last 3 minutes,
and he was limping at the.
and he was limping. I was surprised he came back out there. So yeah, I mean, um, I gave him a lot of credit. Like I've been ragging on his game a little bit, but I think I mean, absolutely saved us tonight. Like we wouldn't have won that game without him for sure. Um,
Let's talk. Let's
I
talk briefly about Boogie down the stretch. So
This is sugar free cream soda, not 5 fingers of whiskey, by the way.
well, whatever it is. Uh,
It just
what,
I've
what do
been
you
drinking, and
what
it
do
was
you
like this
float? What's
full.
floating in it?
Ice, just
Oh,
ice.
it just looks yellow. Oh, it looks like I have a lemon wedge in there on my screen. Anyway,
No.
the so down the like so in the last just the very end. So you're clawing your way back. Boogie hits two clutch free throws, and hits a hot like a get your own. Let me just stick this 16-footer right in your eye, and let me give the rest of the team credit for this. There's a shot, a miss, hustle for the rebound. Brazil's on the floor. Thero comes out of there with it, does a really good pass, like across court, just whips it, and Boogie buries a corner three, and that's the game, dude. That and
Yeah.
so I mean, props to Boogie at the end of that game. Like those were like clutch free throws. Clutch, just go get one in that mid range. His mid range shot is pretty, by the way. Like, I mean, it's that thing's. I I wish, dude. The thing,
Hmm.
what I would do to be able to have that shot. And then yeah, and
Well, and
then
especially when he's intentional about it, when he knows, like when he's not just kind of I mean, basketball is just so fluid. Like it's so a flow game. Like when he's exploring and like, oh, should I pass it? Should I pass it? And then he's like, nah, I'm gonna take a jump shot, and he kind of like hesitate. It often doesn't go in. Like when he's doing the hard, aggressive, like this is mine, and then he just jab step and does the series. Like you can tell it has a different look, and I have not seen him miss one of those yet doesn't when he doesn't hesitate.
hmm yeah, yeah. So yeah, he was huge on down, and I mean that was game. Like when I mean, he was yeah, he was that guy
Yeah, because
down
that
the stretch.
17-foot that step back was after the three. The three was first,
hmm
right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
that
think
was
so. I think
the
so. Yeah,
sealer,
yeah. And yeah, dude. And that was
and
it
it really
was
would have been over if Thoreau Cheerio had hit his free throws. That made
yeah,
it
my guy.
more intense than it needed to be.
Yeah, he goes 1 of 3 from the line. You know what was another interesting thing is when they got that stop and the announcers were talking about it, and Boogie called a play. Uh,
Oh yeah, I like that whole thing at the end. I liked everything about even the
and
fact that
he ran a
Boogie
play to
seemed
get
very.
an oop to Thero. Like, and you're like,
Mhm,
okay, like I like it. Like it's unselfish. And by the way, you can say, oh, well, it didn't work. Yeah, it did.
mhm.
Like it
Yeah, it
totally
did.
worked. I mean,
He just missed the free throws.
yeah, like I mean, like it's like that if that guy doesn't foul him, he's getting his face dunked on, right?
Well, and I think that's another good thing because like anybody can get hot and make a shot or two. But one thing that I noticed, and I hope it is indicative of things to come, is gauging the speed at which your point guard processes information, which is everything in point guard play and really basketball in general. Like, I mean, dude, reaction time and your speed and your knowing where everybody is it's everything. And a lot of times at the end of these games, especially with these young guys, I mean, and by that I mean all college players, you see mistakes get made. You see, timeouts called when you don't have timeouts, guys not
You see
realize
guys
how where
you
the
see
fouls are,
you
where the
see
clock
guy
is.
you see guys give the ball to Cooper Flag 25 feet from the basket 2 times in a row, and him turn his back to the defense as he tries to back someone down and get into a spin move and get his pocket picked twice. You see, like that's I'm gonna go do it. I like that Boogie's like, hey,
Well, and
I
Boogie
think
at
I
the
know
end
what's
there,
gonna work here.
he displayed like all the poise that you would want as far as he made the jump shot, he called out that play for throw, and then after he fouled immediately, like no, like, and I think probably Cal was probably yelling at him too, but he understood that like we've got fouls to give. We want to bleed as much seconds as we can, then foul. and which he did, you know what I mean? And they did make it harder for them to pull that. I mean, even though they got a pretty good look at the end, but it's different. When I think when we missed the second free throw, there was like 8.5 seconds on the clock. They ended up having to take a shot with 3 seconds on the clock,
Yeah.
and um it wasn't after a timeout or anything. Like he was able to quickly just like he knew what he was trying to do, and I mean that's a good sign anyway. I hope that carries over and is indicative of the way he thinks in pressure situations.
Yeah, and I think that you have reason to believe, if you're also like looking for things to be positive, that he's gonna get better and better. I mean, he's gonna be in more and more of those situations. You're gonna learn, right? I mean, you're going to have lots of opportunities uh to get better in those games. I mean, but like they were talking about how he just turned 18 and like technically could still be a high school senior. Like if you'd, you know, if his parents wouldn't have put him in, a lot of parents, if you're on that line, they'll wait and put you in. I don't want to think about Boogie playing high school basketball. Like just be that's just ridiculous to think about. Uh,
Well, and yeah, I mean, we watch high schoolers play all the time. I mean, both of our all our kids playing, so we watch those. But it's like hard to imagine those kids playing with 7 foot guys.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Period. I mean, I don't like athletic 7 foot guys and 6'8" guys. Like, I don't care if they're young or not. Like, I mean, we've played with guys like that, and it's like it's hard to imagine an 18-year-old kid in high school playing with those adult
yeah.
like 24-year-olds that are 6'8" and athletic. I mean, but yeah, I would say the other interesting thing that's happening right now is Kentucky is playing their second challenging game, and but their first one in in a few games, and that'll be
On the
interesting to
road, on the
see.
road, on the road. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I guarantee you, if they go out there and play like they have been playing, and if they just bury Clemson, um, they will. You will be in the comments going, "Yeah, do you guys enjoy that squeaking out a freaking 3 point win against a team that's not even five or that's 500?" You know what I mean?
not even
Uh,
500.
well, I think they are now. That made them 500, didn't it? Weren't they? Or are they 3-4?
I think they were 3 and 4, 3 and 5 now.
Oh, I was thinking they were 4-3. No, they're
Yeah.
3-4. Man, dang,
Well,
dude. Yeah,
they
no
lost
wonder
four.
there was empty seats there.
They've lost 5 games in a row now. That's what I mean, dude. If you're a Miami fan, you thought
That
that
was brutal, dude.
you thought you were about to break through, and
Well, and
sorry.
also, like I said, I'm sorry. There were some ugly parts of that game, and I think if you're Miami, you're like, well, if we can't win this game, then we're just not going to win any games because we had a 10-point lead on a team that was looking kind of goofy at times and just didn't
Yeah,
look like giant killers. And still, they came back and beat us. But yeah, I mean, if
dude,
Kentucky loses to Clemson, we won't hear anything. And if it's probably close, maybe a little, but I guarantee you, if they go out there and play like they have been and they beat Clemson by 20, we're going to hear like it. And like I said, there's truth to it. It's deserved. Like I think that narrative is true. Like Miami is not a great defensive team, and we struggled against them. Like both, like I said, it depends on which side of it you want to look at. It's a growing thing. We got the win. A lot of good things can come out of it. If it's another step on the ladder, then
yeah.
this could still work.
You don't want to
But
whine. You don't want to whine about road wins.
there's still a lot of reason to be concerned. I mean, there's a lot of things that this team is struggling to do well, and um, it is. And Kentucky so far has every reason to think that they're awesome, and that's going to be brutal when they're going to freaking be throwing napkins and stuff down at Cal as he leaves there a loser if that is the way it goes. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That if you're, I always sometimes I try to put myself in the position of the other team too, and you're like, like big, like I just know that if like, because we just had this happen to us with Illinois, but if Big Z's out there just burying. Like, I know that if you're there, you're just like, if I was a Miami fan, I'd be like, what guy, what is happening right now? When he twinkle toes back past the line and guts it, you're just like, dude, what freaky thing is this?
Well, I felt that way with Miami a little bit. I was like, God dang, did these guys miss one of these long threes?
Yeah, they hit some bombs, dude. Oh, yeah. So,
I
all
mean,
right, well,
they did miss some.
Yeah,
To
the
be fair
second
to them, I
half,
mean, like
second half
but
especially. Yeah,
but when you're down by 8 in every shot, you're like, please don't make that. It feels like they're making all these, everything.
yeah. All right, man. We'll leave it there. Hogs play again on Saturday. I will be out of town, but I'm gonna find a way. So I'll be doing this from, I don't know when it's gonna come out. Like I will find a way to watch it
Am I
and
wrong? Everybody needs to get in the comments and wrestle now because the rest of these, this is we're in for the pre-Christmas slog of hopefully no upsets, but like a bunch of like we don't have another really meaningful game,
well, we
assuming
have,
that
we
we
have, we have
don't.
the Michigan game at Madison Square Garden.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. Coming up. And what is that? I will tell you the date. I should know this. I just don't want to. I think I know it. I just don't want to get it wrong. Right.
Well, then say it.
Let's
So,
look
and
at.
then we'll see.
Well, let's look at the remaining schedule. Saturday we got UTSA. Yeah, man, playing University of Texas San Antonio. Uh, right after that, then next Tuesday, December 10th, Michigan, Madison Square Garden. So that's a good one.
Yeah, it's after that where we've got like
And then
three.
yeah, and then you got UCA, Central Arkansas, NC 18, A&T, and Oakland.
Mhm.
Big revenge game for Cal on Oakland.
Oakland. Yeah, yeah, that is true. That is
um,
true.
and then hey, and if you wanted to know, if you're ready to go on the SEC play, just know that we get to start it off with a guaranteed win in SEC play. So that's good. Just nothing like going at Tennessee to start SEC play. And I don't know.
Dude, this conference, I mean, that's what's scary about it because I like the team right now, they're playing middle of the road basketball. And by that I mean middle of the road for the SEC, like for major college basketball.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
obviously playing at an 8 for
yeah.
most human beings, but like their offense is sluggish at times and okay at other times. Their defense is physical and a lot of energy, but it struggles with intelligence a lot of the time or discipline. And the teams in the SEC is so good, dude, you could lose every game.
Yeah.
Everybody's good. I mean, not everybody, but like they're really like there's so many teams that you're like, well, we're not as good
Dude,
as
I
them.
was just watching before we started recording this. I was happened to be watching Tennessee just murder, just straight, full blown, premeditated homicide all over Syracuse. And I was like,
I
this
was
get
hoping you were gonna say like, you know, DuVry or so
no,
like some
there ain't none of that going on. This is the ACC SEC challenge, dude. Ain't nobody playing Divide, but the yeah, dude, it was. I mean, it was 25 points when I came in here, but there was still 10 minutes left.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing that worries me about like the reason I'm saying being critical of like I feel like that if we struggle to get our offensive to go against my that team, we're gonna have like 8 points in the half against, and I'm not even joking. I'm being serious about that. Like we're gonna have like 8 points if against Auburn and Tennessee. Like those
Yeah.
guys, we haven't seen that defense yet. You know what I mean? I mean, and to be fair, like
I mean,
not every
those are like the best, the two of the top five defenses in the country. Like, I mean,
they are, and I'm not even so sure. Sometimes, not always, sometimes a team that struggles with offensive fluidity against a really, really aggressive, intense defensive team, sometimes they do better because we got a bunch of one-on-one players. And I don't mean better, but I mean like I almost think sometimes you like, well, we do have good one-on-one players. And when you're a team that thinks you can that prides yourself on being able to stay in front of the ball one-on-one, it's like you could actually play better against that team than a team that throws a zone at you and you're all like freaked out and don't have any
yeah,
idea how to do
yeah,
it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So, and I'm not saying I'm not predicting that at all. I'm saying not sometimes when you're a struggling offense, it almost works to your benefit against a really good defensive team. Like it's not always translated exactly one to one. It depends on what you struggle at. You know what I mean?
yeah. By the way, though, like, I'm still not convinced that shooting the ball is going to be like the thing that like the Achilles heel of this team. I know we didn't shoot the ball very well against Illinois. Every team in the country is going to have games where they don't shoot the ball very well. That's going to happen. But there's enough sample size now of games where we have shot the ball pretty well where I'm like, we're definitely capable of shooting the ball.
Yeah, oh, no, we've got shooters. Our problem is getting them the ball in a
Yeah.
advantageous shooting position. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like you still have to work the ball around in order to get
Yeah.
guys good shots. And
Yeah.
like you said with Nelly, like one of the big differences is he didn't get good shots in the first half.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and I'm not maybe he had one or two, but like he wasn't getting great opportunities because we were playing really weird. And it's like he got the ones he made. I mean, a couple of them there was a guy diving out, but like they were
Yeah.
you were definitely not like, oh, it was like, oh,
Yeah.
there he
Well,
goes.
I know this. I mean, I don't, I'm not nervous at all when I see Nelly, Boogie, or Big Z pull it from three if they're open. I'm like, yeah, like let it fly, right? I mean, those
Mhm.
guys. I think all three of those guys and DJ too. Like when he's open, let it go ahead and shoot it, man. But those three guys, you're like, and sometimes you can just tell by like the way guys shoot it. Like you're just like, those three guys can shoot, dude. Like, I don't care what you tell me. I've watched and played a lot of basketball, and I can tell you that those guys are used to seeing that ball go in. From there,
Mhm.
I could tell like by the way they shoot it.
So yeah, my thing is I'm not worried about like not being able to shoot the ball against an Auburn or something. I'm worried about not being able to get shots.
Yeah, yeah,
You
thousand
know what I
percent.
mean? Like
Yeah, yeah. All right.
so
Well, hey, road win. Got to take a road win when you can get one, and we got us one, and that's good. We will be back after the next game at some point to recap that, dude. All right. I will see you then. Hey, then and also it was good of Arkansas to give the SEC their first win of the SEC ACC challenge. That's also like I'm rooting for the SEC, every SEC team tonight, except for Kentucky. Rooting for every single one of them, hoping that we just, you know, tear it up. I'm just messing with you. I'm not. I'm just kidding. I want the SEC to win every game, of course.
dude, no Kentucky fan is listening this far. They are clicking. A Kentucky fan is going, all right, what Arkansas things are out there? Let me listen to 1 minute of this. Go jump into the comments and be like,
Cal
you guys
sucks
suck.
out.
Yeah, Cal sucks, and you guys got screwed. And just wait till you're as miserable as we were. Yeah, if they're listening to the end, they're crazy because I can't imagine listening to a 40-minute
Yeah,
Kentucky
listen.
podcast.
If you're a Kentucky fan and you hear this, now you have to go in the comment, not to be like, and just be nice and just say, hey, I just want you to know I was
I'm
listening.
that Kentucky. I'm that Kentucky fan
I'm
that's
that guy.
listening for to
I
a
just
whole
want you to know
podcast
that I did.
from a bunch
Hey,
of hacks.
hey, and we appreciate it. That's great. You might be the only one. There's probably no Arkansas fans listening at this point, so we got to freaking go.
Yeah, there's 79 people that are listening to this part anyway. Period. I'm
That's right.
assuming they're all Hogs fans. What are you crazy? So,
All right, man.
all
We'll
right,
see you.
see you, dude.
Bye.